Programmable money designed to manipulate and control you? Yes, I'm talking about CBDCs, what it would mean to live in a surveillance economy with no financial freedom, and how you can protect yourself. Hi everyone, I'm Kenney with ITM Trading. While most of you probably are already familiar with CBDCs, it has never been more important to understand what is coming and how it could impact you as the US continues to move forward with research and development. For those of you that don't know, we're talking about CBDCs, or central bank digital currency, which is a new form of virtual money. It's programmable currency that is issued and backed by the central bank. You might be thinking, this sounds a lot like cryptocurrency, but it is not. Cryptocurrency is decentralized, whereas CBDCs are centralized, central banks. With a CBDC, your money would be owned, managed, and controlled by the US government. Now, why do the American people want programmable money? Well, funny enough, you guessed it, most of them don't. Recent surveys show that over 75% of the US population are actually against CBDCs. Now, for the government, it's a different story. There are endless ways that the government would benefit from having a CBDC, all which tie into control. But I want to be fair here. The US government actually lists out the benefits of having a CBDC on their website. The top 3 reasons are increased financial stability, expanding consumer access to the financial system, and faster and cheaper payments. Let's break those down real quick. Number 1, improving financial stability. Anything that's outside of their system, such as cryptocurrency or gold, threatens faith in the fiat US dollar. So what they mean by increased financial stability is actually increased financial control. Number 2, expanding consumer access to the financial system. Currently, there's about 4% of the US population that actually don't have bank accounts. The government thought is that if you have a smartphone but no bank account and you use a CBDC, you're actually going to be included in this new vision. It will be easier for you to do financial transactions. What's funny about this, though, is that 40% of those people who don't have bank accounts by choice, often because they don't have trust in the banks themselves. So do we think that the same people who don't have trust in banks are going to have trust in a centralized digital programmable currency? Probably not. Number 3, supporting faster payments that will save money. Now, in theory, this one makes sense, but with the advent of FedNow, faster payment processing that will result in save money will already be a reality. So this one doesn't make sense because they're already going to be achieving this goal through FedNow. And let me pause real quick because I know we get a lot of questions about this. CBDCs and FedNow are not the same thing. They are not interchangeable. Really quick, CBDCs, digital currency, FedNow is going to be the funnel for said currency, so the middleman here. It is a payment infrastructure. You buy something, the money is going from your account through FedNow to the institution that you're buying from. Now, I know that's a very simple explanation, but don't worry, I've seen your comments. So next Sunday, I will be doing a deep dive video specifically focused on FedNow and what it means for you. But back to CBDCs. These reasons just don't make sense. And even if these reasons did make sense, do they warrant the risks associated with a CBDC? Let's back up and go through an example. We all know there are levers that get pulled in order to slow or spur the economy, such as interest rates. Make borrowing money cheaper, and it's more lucrative to do so. Spending goes up. Make borrowing more expensive, and it's not so lucrative to do so. Spending is going to go down. People are going to hold on to their money. Now, with that in mind, let's talk about a CBDC world. You decide to start using the US CBDC. Things are going well. Your direct deposit goes right into your CBDC account. You're using it to spend for your groceries, your rent, you name it, whatever, your daily expenses. But you're really focused on saving. So you're taking a large portion of that and putting it into your CBDC savings account. You're getting close to finally buying that house. You're almost at your down deposit and boom, suddenly that money is starting to go down. Why? Because the interest rate is negative. The government has decided that they want you to spend money to stimulate the economy. Suddenly, everyone with CBDC, they have to spend their money or they are quite literally losing it. Your hard-earned money is disappearing because it's a lever the government can pull. They pull levers now. What's to say they wouldn't pull levers in the future? Or let's just say it expires altogether. If you don't spend it by X date, you quite literally lose it. We already saw this with a pilot in China, so we know this is a real possibility with programmable money. The concerns here are never ending. With CBDCs, it will be a full surveillance state. The government will know exactly what you're spending, how you're spending it, and when you're spending it at all times. On the Federal Reserve CBDC FAQ website, there's an actual question, number 8, that says, would a CBDC protect my privacy? And the Federal Reserve's response is, any CBDC would need to strike an appropriate balance between safeguarding the privacy rights of consumers and affording the transparency necessary to deter criminal activity. They're not even trying to hide it. So what constitutes a criminal? Someone that the government doesn't agree with? Last year we saw it with Canada. Financial censorship for protests. There was an executive order that mandated that all banks, brokerages, cryptocurrency exchanges, they froze the accounts of anyone who donated to these protesters. Now, regardless of how you feel about the protest itself, we can all agree that financial censorship is terrifying. And that example was without a CBDC. Imagine that there was a CBDC. The government, flick of the switch, boom, your money is gone. Maybe it's frozen, maybe it disappeared. Who's to say? So how close are we to actually having a CBDC? As it stands today, the United States is still in the research stage. So there's a lot we don't know, but rest assured, it is coming. And the United States is not alone in pursuing this. As it stands today, about 130 countries are actively researching a CBDC, with about 10 piloting a live CBDC. We already know that most people don't want this. So what is it going to look like on the day when it's rolled out and subsequent days following? They're not going to shock you. Most likely it's going to be launched with a 1-to-1 ratio of the US dollar, so it's perceived as interchangeable and basically the same thing. Another likely scenario is that there will be favorable components to joining, such as a sign-on bonus per se, right? Free money or something that's going to entice people to want to voluntarily participate. Or, as Lynette predicts, there's going to be a crisis. Everyone is going to be so afraid, and a US CBDC is going to look really stable and really secure. So while we don't know exactly how it's going to happen, what we do know is that the key to a future CBDC success is adoption. The more that people adopt it, the more successful it is. So they really need people to get on board. The control component only works if it becomes the new normal. Listen, if you're freaked out, you're not alone. All of us are. But the best thing you can do right now is be knowledgeable and make sure that your loved ones are knowledgeable too. In addition to educating yourself, it just makes it more important than ever to make sure that you have wealth outside of the system. And not just wealth, but in my opinion, being as self-sufficient as possible. Setting yourself up for success now while there's still time. And on that note, there is so much more to discuss and learn about CBDCs. So if you want free access to our newest report on CBDCs that covers everything you need to know about what they are, the impact it could have on your financial future, and how to protect yourself, we have a link in the description below and in the comments. This is definitely a time-sensitive subject, so plan accordingly and make sure that you get everything in order while you have the time now. Again, that link is below in the description, in the comments. Be sure to check it out. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Kenney with ITM Trading. I'll see you next week.